Hey there, Corporate Misfits. Brittany Darrington here, and welcome to the Corporate Misfit Club channel, where we help female coaches, course creators, and consultants to build a freedom-bound business, sharing their expertise through e-learning and also creating automation through funnels and things that help you to get your hands off the keyboard so that you can do what you enjoy. Now, before we dive into today's topic, I have an amazing free workshop for you. It's called How to Create Absolutely Beautiful Graphic Designs for Your Online Course Without Having to Hire an expensive graphic designer or spend countless hours doing it. So I want to walk you through exactly how you can create designs in minutes, whether it's worksheets, webinar slides, or things along those lines that you might need for your online course or coaching business. I want you to be able to quickly be able to make those so that you're not spending all day doing it. Okay, now if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of our upcoming videos. If you're looking to host a webinar, well then today we're gonna talk all about how you can create amazing webinar slides utilizing Canva so that you can generate sales into your business, be able to grow your tribe, and so much more. Now, webinars are a really great way for you to connect with your audience. It's a way for you to be able to teach your students, whether they are just prospects right now or they are current students. It's a great way for you to be able to teach them and share points on how they can overcome some of the pain points that they are experiencing. Now, the other great part is if you're utilizing your webinar to sell a product, then at the very end of your webinar, you're gonna have an opportunity to now share about how your audience can either go to an application and apply to work with you, how they can go to a sales page or a checkout and be able to buy the product that you might have been talking about throughout the webinar. Now, if you are not familiar with how webinars work, it can be really challenging to identify what types of slides you need to create and then how to create them. So I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of one of my webinars that I have created in Canva and show you how you can not only mimic some of these slides, but also be able to create utilizing Canva and not have to waste time trying to learn all of these other platforms to be able to do what you need to do. And just a bonus, I'll be showing you also how you can host a live webinar on Canva and share a link with your audience and not have to worry about a webinar platform so you can save some time there. Okay, let's go ahead and go behind the scenes.
Okay, let's make your webinars so that they're highly engaging and easy for your audience to want to continue to learn from you and not so boring. I've been on some webinars where I'm just falling asleep and I'm like, whoa, I want to learn from you, but this is pretty boring. So I don't want you to run into some of the things that I have seen out in the industry, and I want you to really keep your audience engaged, keep them wanting to learn more. So here's what we're going to do. Canva provides some options, and I'm going to show you what's also in Course Creator Pro, but what we want to do is we want to find engaging presentation slides. Now, if you're going to be utilizing screen share to do your webinar, then you want to keep your audience engaged because you don't want to stay on a slide for so long that has so much text that people just kind of tune out or they read ahead and then they're like, all right, I already know what she's going to talk about. I already know what she's going to say. So here's what I like to do. If I were starting from scratch in Canva, meaning I did not have templates already, or I didn't want to use templates, I wanted to just use my own, what Canva had to offer, what I would do is I would go to presentations. So if you were to type in webinar, I just want to point this out. Let's say I typed in webinar. What's going to happen is webinar titles are going to come up and webinar covers are going to come up. So this is a really great way for you to create a webinar cover. However, it is not necessarily a webinar slide deck that you might need if you're doing a full webinar slide. So just FYI, if you're going to go through this, I just want to warn you, I have been through this time and time again. There is not necessarily a webinar slide deck. It is just mainly things to help promote your webinar. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, let's go to presentation. And when we go to presentations, so you need to decide what size presentation you're looking to move forward with. I'm going to move forward with a 16 by 9. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And when I click on that, I want to now look for some different slides that might be perfect for my brand and also what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to go ahead and grab this particular one since it's fun. And ultimately, I can then update this to start to look more in alignment with my webinar. So I can plug in my webinar title. I can plug in what the agenda is going to be. I can do an introduction of who I am. I can change this up to talk about what they're going to learn or talk about some other things. Maybe that's one of my teaching pages where I'm going to share about a particular problem and help to solve the pain point. And so I want you to utilize these pictures or these actual presentation slides. And I want you to think about how you can use them differently than what you're seeing right now, because they can be used for lessons and things along those lines. So here are just a few options here to get started with. Again, you want to make your audience engage. So I'm going to show you what we do in Course Creator Pro. We usually use around, whenever I'm doing a webinar, I usually use anywhere from, I would say 70 to 100 webinar slides. It all just depends. So for example, this is one of our webinar slides and it's already created and made for course creators and coaches. And so the really great part about that is that when you're going through it, you're able to start to see things that make more sense for your audience. So those are just a few. Now, if you're going to be starting from scratch, like what we were talking about, then what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking of the pages that you want to have. Are you going to have a about you section? Are you going to have a stay until the end? Are you also going to include things like fast action bonuses? I want you to just make an outline of the pages you're looking to have, and also how many lessons are you looking to teach? How many topics or main points are you looking to teach within your webinar? Usually it's anywhere from 3 to 5. And if that is the case, I want you to get aware of what that is on an outline, so that then when you're coming into Canva, you know what pages you need and you can duplicate it and start to make some headway in your actual webinar slide design. So if you have all your pages ready, you know exactly what you're going to do, you can start changing all of these pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit apply all pages. And I'm going to go ahead and just make this easy on myself by changing all the colors. So I'm going to click on this. Right now, this is not my brand color, so I'm going to make it my brand colors. I'm going to change this. Now I'm going to go to change all. I'm just going to update this to where I don't have to go and keep updating colors and things along those lines. This is already in similar to my brand color, but I'm going to go ahead and click this so I can change all. I'm going to also change this, maybe make that yellow, change all. I'm going to change that to where it's in my brand color. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now when I go to this, these are now in my brand color. So if I wanted to change anything, I could individually, but at least I changed it to where I'm not having to sit and change colors and make sure it's on point with brand. Now, if I wanted to get rid of any elements, I can just hover over it and delete it. I'm going to undo that. But if I wanted to add other elements, maybe these elements aren't it, I can go to elements, I can go to graphics. Maybe I wanted to use a star, maybe I wanted to use just something else. So whatever the case may be, let's say I want to use this instead. Let's get rid of that. And I want to just use this. You can add in some elements that make sense to your brand, and you can start to make it look along the lines of your own. Now, just know that once you have created one of your pages, whether you're changing the text or if you've changed elements and you want to duplicate that page, what you can do is go down to where it has the 3 dots. You can duplicate that page and you can use it again. So usually whenever I'm creating lessons, whenever I'm doing a lesson page, something like this, then what I would do is make sure I design it first to my liking, and then I duplicate that page because I'm probably going to utilize it again with other content. And so once you have what you need, you can then go to grid view and you can rearrange anything that's needed in order to make sure that this all flows effectively. Now, again, your presentation for your webinar is all going to depend on how long your webinar is and also what you're talking about and what your end goal is. So if you're not going to be selling a product at the end, you might not have as many webinar slides. And if your webinar is only 15 or 30 minutes, you might not have as many slides as versus someone who's hosting a 75-minute webinar. So I want you to just think about what you're going to be doing so that you can know how many slides you need, and also make your outline first. So then when you come to your actual presentation slides that you're going to start editing, you will then be able to know how many pages you need, which pages need to be duplicated, and then which specific pages are going to go to what. So if you want to check out Course Creator Pro, we do have those webinar templates in there for you. We have several different versions of webinar templates that you can choose from. And also, if you want to get started with just what Canva has, just to test things out and get familiar with it, you can definitely do that as well. Now, once you have your webinar in place, it's important for you to go to the share. And then what you're going to do to download your webinar is you can download it to where you are utilizing it in, let's go back to not download. Here we go. If you want to have it in, like, for example, maybe Google Slides or something along those lines, you want to present it somewhere else, and it's not going to necessarily be here. You're going to go to where it says more. And then what you can do is you can go and scroll down, and you can save this in PowerPoint presentation. You can save this in a Google Drive. You can select some of the different options that Canva provides. Now, if you're going to present this on Canva, you can then select some of the present options. And if you aren't going to present this on Canva or on some of those other options, then I want you to decide what works best for you if you were to download. Would JPEGs or PNG, depends on where you're looking to or how you're looking to go about your webinar. You're going to decide which option works best for you.
Thanks so much for watching today's video. Make sure that you like and subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Also, make sure you leave a comment letting me know how you utilize Canva in your business. And also, don't forget to check out our free workshop, How to Create Beautiful Graphic Designs for Your Online Course Business Without Having to Spend a Fortune or countless hours trying to come up with your design. You can find that below. Okay, I'll see you next time.